Blogger, the U.S. attacked Venezuela. The lightning-fast operation began at around 2 o'clock in the morning local time and lasted about half an hour. Caracas and several other cities were attacked from the air. Explosions were heard in the port area, at the oil depot, as well as at a number of military facilities. A state of emergency and mobilization have been declared in Venezuela. Panic broke out in the capital. The Venezuelan Ministry of Defense has promised to deliver an armed response to the U.S. In Caracas, they are demanding proof that their leader is alive. According to Donald Trump, American Marines captured Dulaque and took Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro out of the country, along with his wife, Celia Flores. Trump posted the first photo of the detained Venezuelan leader on his social media, and he said that he followed the operation live at my estate in Mar-a-Lago. From Caracas, the presidential couple were taken by helicopter to an American warship, which transported them to New York.
John Bolton. He was caught with his wife, Celia Flores. They will both now stand before American justice. Maduro and Flores were brought to one of New York's districts. They are accused of involvement in narcoterrorism against the USA and our citizens.
Blogger, in New York, prosecutors have already filed charges against Nicolas Maduro. He is accused of involvement in international drug trafficking and illegal possession of weapons. This was reported by the U.S. Attorney General's office.
The top international story of the day. The United States has attacked Venezuela. While explosions echoed across the country and military bases were burning, American Marines stormed the presidential palace and captured Nicolas Maduro along with his wife. It is reported that he has already been transferred to the United States, where he will be tried for drug trafficking. Lesia Holovina will tell us how the operation unfolded and how the world is reacting to the detention of the Venezuelan leader.
Sirens wailing over Caracas, explosions and columns of smoke rising above the horizon. The residents of the Venezuelan capital woke up after the second night, just as American aircraft were already flying over the city and gunfire was echoing. Within minutes, part of Caracas was plunged into complete darkness. The only light on the blacked-out streets came from the glow of fires. The port caught fire, and the oil depot too. People started fleeing city. There was a traffic jam at the exit from Caracas. Soon, only the military and a few vehicles remained.
I live not far from here. Some time ago, we heard planes flying overhead. Then there were explosions. There were several blasts, 7 or even 10. I want to see what happened there. So far, I can only see columns of smoke, and I can smell a pungent stench. On
Venezuelan TV channels, the hosts are reading out government statements.
The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela rejects and condemns before the international community the extremely serious military aggression committed by the U.S. government against civilian and military sites in Caracas, as well as in the states of Miranda, Aragua, and Vargas. This act is a blatant violation of the UN Charter.
Donald Trump himself stated that American special forces had captured the country's president and his wife.
The United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who, along with his wife, was captured and taken out of the country. This operation was carried out jointly with U.S. law enforcement agencies.
American Marines landed on the Venezuelan islands in the Caribbean Sea. Targets were the Tuna Military Fort, the Naval Academy in Vargas, and the Generalissimo Francisco de Miranda Air Base, plus about a dozen other facilities. The defense minister's residence was hit. An explosion occurred near the Venezuelan General Staff headquarters. Just the day before, Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro stated that he was ready to negotiate with the United States, both on combating drug trafficking and on cooperation in the oil sector.
The American government knows this because we've said it repeatedly. If they want to seriously discuss fighting drug trafficking, we're ready. If they want oil, Venezuela is open to American investment. We are ready. Whenever they want, wherever they want, and however they want.
The Venezuelan Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced a transition to armed struggle. A decree on a state of emergency and mobilization applies in Ukraine. The Minister of Defense vowed to resist.
We will not negotiate, we will not surrender. And in the end, we will prevail.
The American attack on Venezuela was condemned by some Latin American countries and by Russia. The reaction of Western countries is more restrained. In particular, the EU's chief diplomat, Kaja Kallas, reminded that Nicolas Maduro is a usurper and a dictator.
The EU has repeatedly stated that Nicolas Maduro is not legitimate and has supported a peaceful transition of power. Under any circumstances, the principles of international law and the UN Charter must be observed. We call for restraint.
Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the Venezuelan president is already in U.S. custody. He will soon be charged, and military actions in Venezuela are over. Nicolas Maduro was once a bus driver and later became a union leader. He took over the country 13 years ago after the death of Hugo Chavez. However, the results of the elections, which he has repeatedly won, are not trusted by democratic institutions. He is on the sanctions lists of the U.S. and EU for human rights violations and election fraud. His regime has largely relied on the support of Russia, China, and Iran. In recent months, tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela have intensified. Donald Trump accused Maduro of drug trafficking and launched operations against his fleet. The Venezuelan leader allegedly personally, he led the so-called Cartel of the Suns. Lizia Holovina, We Are Ukraine, Marathon United News.